talk about this team we love, baby. Oh, and what's not to love, huh? All right, what's not to love over here? Welcome to the show, episode 1,644 of GreenBean's Jets Pod. I thank you for hanging out. I thank you for coming, man, because boy, oh boy. You know, there was a great analogy put in the live stream chat from the game this week. Somebody said, I wish I can remember who. Maybe it was Armani AD. Great viewer, great poster, great commenter. He said, the Jets are like going to a restaurant and ordering a filet mignon, and they bring you a hot dog to the table. I said, yeah. That's a lot. You know, we have filet mignon dreams and hot dog reality, right? So but I wonder sometimes, if I've been going to this restaurant for 42 years, for half the year I go every week, and I go, I'll have the filet mignon, good sir. And he says, okay, no problem, and he brings me a hot dog. At what point do I stop going to that restaurant? That's the question. You know, really, again? Pierre? Pierre's my waiter's name at the Jets restaurant. I'm not sure if you were aware of that. That's his name. I don't know what your waiter's name was, but mine is called Pierre, and he brings me a hot dog, and quite frankly, I don't like Pierre very much. I'm getting tired of Pierre's bullshit. And but, you know, it's like this team. But we had ourselves a game. We were able to have some fun. You know, it's such an interesting thing with the Jets. You get to these layers of, like, you know, just go with the elevator. Just bing, 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 bing. Keeps going down floor after floor after floor. And you start to go, all right, well, you know, can we at least just get this? Can we have some? Come on, can I have some of that? No? All right, can I have some of that? And you get to a point, you're like, can I just watch a game of football? Can I see some touchdowns, cheer a little bit? And we got that this week. So pay the winner. We win. Speaking of winner, I want to remind you guys about the great offer that the one and only BetUS is offering Green Bean viewers. You go to BetUS, just Google BetUS. You go on that site. You sign up. You use the promo code YouTube150, and they're going to give you a 150% bonus on your first deposit up to $2,000. But it also works for your next two. They're going to give you a 125% bonus up to $2,000 on the next two deposits. So it's quite amazing. And the platform's easy to use. It's America's favorite sports book for a reason. Once again, I won 1 out of 2 bets, so I'm 50% this week. Not bad. I was 1 out of 3 the week before. I got to stop betting with hope. You know what the bet I lost on BetUS this week? That the first score of the game would be a Jets touchdown. I bet $100 on it. Like, what am I doing? But for you don't have to bet on the Jets. And that's probably the wise move, but the offer still stands. YouTube 150 for you, and you'll get that amazing bonus from the one and only BetUS. So, look, we had ourselves a game, and it's interesting to watch this stuff because Jets fans, we're notoriously divided, right? We're notoriously divided. One guy thinks it's this player's fault. This guy thinks it's not that player's fault. He's being scapegoated, and this guy hates this coach, and that guy says it's not the coach, it's the general manager. And he goes, what do you mean the general manager? And that's what we do, and that's par for the course. And the only thing that I hate about it is when we start to get venomous with each other. Like, who cares if I disagree with you? Who cares? Who cares if you like this guy and I don't, you know? But we get there, and we want to convince, and that's great. The passion side I'm in love with. I've been here a long time, as you guys know, but I don't like when we start to go, oh, yeah, well, on second thought, your wife's ugly. Like, you know, why we got to talk like that? Just talking about Jeremy Ruckert. Why you got to bring my wife into it, man? So that kind of thing. But we're notoriously, you know, I think every year, doesn't matter if it's the draft, if it's the losing games at the end of the year, if it's the new coach, if it's the quarterback, it doesn't matter. We're divided. That's what we do. And we like to do that. We have our opinions and all that jazz. But right now we're seeing this situation where I think the idea of Aaron Rodgers was beautiful. right? Fair. I think most of us liked it. Now you'll see that I wasn't so much. I was on board, and I don't want to have revisionist history and try to say I didn't ever want them. That would not be true. But I was not as passionately devoted to the idea as some others, as most others, quite frankly. You guys know I was more in the Derek Carr camp. And why? Mainly because I was like he's younger and we'll have him longer, and he's a 4,000-yard quarterback every single year. And I mean, maybe not quite the upside, but I think Derek Carr, if you with our defense and the stories that we did. So that was more, I was leaning more that way. And right or wrong, it is what it is. But now the idea of Aaron Rodgers, I will admit, was fanciful. I was like, oh man, you could very easily slip into this fantasy idea that, wow, Breece Hall's gonna explode with the threat of Aaron Rodgers, and Aaron Rodgers throwing to Garrett Wilson. Oh my God, and blah, blah, blah. And it just never materialized. Now we know last year it didn't materialize because Aaron Rodgers, we lost him at 4 plays with the Achilles. But this year, there's really no reason why it's not happening other than to say it's not happening. The idea, the dream is not there. Now, is he washed? Some people will tell you 100%. Others will say, no, he's not washed. Look at this, look at that, look at the other thing. He scored 27 points this week. When's the defense going to be held to account? Okay, it's fair. Fair point. Now you could see that bet and raise it and say, well, the defense also gave him the ball with a fumble, a sack fumble, and, basically gimme points and 15-yard line, whatever it was, 12-yard line, something like that. Well, the defense did their part too. I mean, you know what I mean? So we can do this all day. There's justifications and reasons and facts on both sides of this thing. But I think underneath it all, you just got to look at this and you can say pretty clearly that even though Aaron Rodgers is giving us, I mean, sadly, to admit this out loud in front of you, the best quarterback play that we've seen in a long time, best is a tough word. Better quarterback play than we've seen in a long time. It's still, can we just agree that what we're seeing is not the Aaron Rodgers that we thought we'd see? Is that at least fair? We have Garrett Wilson, we have Breece Hall, we have Devontae Adams, and we got role players all over the place. Braylon Allen, Conklin, Lazard when he was here. We have players. Gibson, right? Corley, who they don't use right, in my opinion. But it's not happening. So it's frustrating to see. But at the end of the day, you look at like a stat line, and he's got, Aaron Rodgers' stats. He's 22 of 29 for $184 and 2 touchdowns. I mean, it's not earth-shattering, but it seems, if you just look at it, this is why we talk about the box score a lot. Like the box score is not the story, because in addition to that, we also saw for the first time in 19 years, as bad as our Jets offenses have been, the Jets failed to get a first down in their first 5 possessions. Not one first down, not just not scoring drives. We've seen that plenty. The Jets didn't score in the first quarter for 12 weeks. Things like that. We see that stuff all the time. We didn't get a single first down in our first 5 possessions of the game for the first time in 19 years. 19 years. You know how old I was when I was 19 years ago? I was still in New Jersey as a drug addict. Like, it's a long time ago. I was like homeless 19 years ago. It's the truth. It's a whole different life. That's the last time we saw this type of abysmal offense. So and you look at it, and there were plenty of plays. Aaron Rodgers, just even some that ended up being receptions, just terrible passes off. Could have hit guys, didn't. Some were, should have been a pass, like the third down to Breece Hall standing right in front of him. He just took the sack. So with the box score, you look at it, 184 yards. Again, not earth-shattering, nothing crazy, but, 22 of 29, 184 yards, 2 touchdowns. What else you want from him? Offense scored 27 points. So it's this weird thing where the argument can live. It can live. And it's frustrating. And so look, the Jets are now 8 losses on the season in the first 11 games. 8 losses. Now, think about this. The Jets have been 8-3 and not made the playoffs. Maybe we can be 3-8 and make it into the playoffs. Huh? And look, again, the Jets are not mathematically eliminated from playoff contention just yet. So it's really a crazy thing. Now, they're going to be soon, especially, you lose one more, it's a wrap, right? You know that. Even now, at 9-8, it's going to be tough. You got to win the next 6 games. It's going to be tough. Not impossible, but very, very difficult and highly unlikely, especially with the way we've been playing. Look at the Colts game. Look at the Cardinals game. Worse, the Colts game, we looked okay once we got our heads out of our rear ends. But it's very, very frustrating. Now, let's dig into a few things. One is I want to just say congrats to my boy Kenny Yeboah, who, by the way, I've been yelling for, you guys know, for years, should be used more. He's a very effective blocker, and he's a wide receiver turned tight end, so he's got good hands. And you saw it today. I damn near lost my mind when Kenny scored his first touchdown. I really did. I almost lost my mind because I was excited for him, and we were humming at that point. And I'll be honest with you, I thought the Jets had the game. I thought we were going to win the game. And then it's, once again, another 1 point, 1 score, 1 field goal game that we lose. Kenny Yeboah scores. The field goal kicker looked good, right? Are we going to sign this kid to the damn team? Or do we get a new one next week, hoping that Peg the Leg comes back? I don't know what we're doing with that. It's just, what it points to is this, guys. The fact that we have Garrett Wilson, Devontae Adams, Breece Hall, Aaron Rodgers, on and on and on and on, and it's not working. And the only guy we've seen benched is Tony Adams. Like last week's crazy debacle with the tackles. And that's been throughout the whole 4 years. But it really was glaring in the Cardinals game. And they benched Tony Adams. Now you say, Chuck Clark's come back and Jalen Mills has been playing well. That's fine. But why isn't Tony Adams on the field in passing downs? He's your free safety. Why do you got 2 strong safeties out? Why? What's the story with that? Why aren't you pulling Chuck Clark and putting Tony Adams on the field, who's got coverage skills? I don't know. So it boils down to there's a complete and utter mismanagement to this team, and we have to endure it. There are 6 weeks left, and then we have to endure the whole playoff season without the Jets and the whole thing, and we're already talking about quarterbacks and coaches. And let's take a look at a couple years of the Jets offense as a whole in the intelligent grade. When we went to the game last year, we do our Talking Jets meetup, and we went to the game last year. We went to the Chargers game. It was a Sunday night football. And we went to see the Chargers game. We had a great time until we went into the damn stadium and they lost. But during that game, we had something happen, which is very similar to what happened today. And we saw it, and they showed it on the TV, and the whole thing is that we got our first roughing the passer penalty called when our quarterback was roughed in 2 seasons. So in 2022, we were the only team in the NFL that did not draw a roughing the passer penalty, which is crazy because poor Zach got killed and Mike White, they were getting killed. And we were the only team that the NFL refs decided, we don't need to throw. So we were in the stands and we had that happen. We saw it happen live. And the whole stadium, we cheered like we won the Super Bowl. Because it's ridiculous that we finally get to see that. It was at least as good as a big 80-yard touchdown. Yeah, we were high-fiving. Oh my God, it's really happening. Well, that happened today. The Jets offense, as I mentioned earlier, 5 straight drives without a single first down. And that's with even going for it on 4th and 1, which you think, again, you got Breece Hall, you got Braylon Allen. It's 3 feet. It's 3 feet, right? What is something like that? 3 feet. You get the kid with a head of steam and you pound him into the line and he's getting 3 feet. 8 out of 10 times. But what do? We do a motion with the tight end who we never hand the ball off to, and we ask him to get it. Trickery. We get cute, and we didn't get it. I see no reason to do that play at that point. You got to have your foundational stuff. You can't add too many variables to things that you need, and we get stuff there. So we have 5 drives without a single first down. We're losing 13-0 at the time, and we get a first down, and the place goes nuts. And they showed the crowd on the TV. On the camera. And there was this woman, and she was like this. Like, thank you, Jesus. And that's where we get brought down to. That we have to cheer for the utterly absurd. Like every team's fans, they go, you get a first down, they go, yeah, all right, first down. That's another Jets first down. Everybody gets excited in the whole thing. But we have 5 minutes left in the half, of which the team with the lowest time of possession in the NFL had 19 plus seconds. They had or minutes of time of possession. And it's like, there's so many layers to how bad this was that the Jets fans have to cheer for that. Now, subsequently and gratefully and fun and more, we ended up having that was our first scoring drive as well. So it turns out first downs are pretty important, which is neat to learn. Who knew? Third down conversions important. First downs important. I mean, I don't know. I thought they were kind of overrated all this time, but I guess not. I guess they're pretty good stuff to do, to pull together in a game, and then you end up maybe even having a chance to win it. So we're doing that stuff today. That's what we're seeing. It's one of those. And the Jets fans are booing Aaron Rodgers and the whole thing. And this is where we are. Because the idea of a 40-year-old quarterback coming in and being the final piece was better than the actual scenario itself. And it's a shame and it sucks. But so the Jets currently have the 26th ranked offense in the NFL. 26. So that's bottom 6. All right? Bottom 6. So even though we're seeing all kinds of ridiculous records, first game Aaron Rodgers ever had where he didn't throw at least one touchdown, which has now happened twice. We saw that this year. First time that he threw 2 interceptions in a game or whatever it was, in the first quarter. I don't know. We saw that. We're seeing the lowest numbers of Aaron Rodgers' career. We're seeing all kinds of stuff. That's like record-breaking, historic type of stuff on the wrong side of this thing. So last year at this time, we're 29th in points and 31st in yards offensively. Year before that, 29th in points, 25th in yards. 28th in points, 26th in yards. 32nd in points in 2020 and 32nd in yards. Then the year before that, 2019, you got 31 in points, 32nd in yards. It's just, we have been watching, this is the last 6 years. In the last 6 years, we have been the best we've seen is right now. The best we've seen is right now. We are a 3-win team, and the best we've seen is right now. Now, there's obvious reasons for that. The defensive rank, like, for example, in 2022, the defense is ranked fourth overall. Last year, they're 3rd in yards and 12th in points. And then, it's like, You see it. That helps a whole bunch. We don't have that this year. But you throw it back a bunch of years before that. We had a little bit better year in 2019 or 2012 with the offense. You obviously had 2015. We were 11th in points and 10th in yards. But by and large, we are a bottom 5 offensive team. And we have been pretty much that way since 2011. Pretty much. We're bottom of the bunch. And so it leads me to this idea, this whole thing. We talk about, what the coach can be, what we're going to do. If we're going to keep Aaron Rodgers, he says he wants to stay, I don't know, man. You're going to keep a guy that's going to stay 1 year. It's more than likely going to prohibit the hiring of some coaches. I mean, you're going to have to write it in their contract like year 1, no matter what happens, is not going to be held against you. You got to do it. Nobody's going to come and say, oh, yeah, I'll take the lump, unless they're just like everybody you'd like says no, and you got to go down to the dregs. You got to go to the Jaguars offensive coordinator or some shit like that. He'll go, yeah, I'll take the job. I don't care. I'll be a head coach in the NFL. Why not? You know what I mean? I don't know who it is. Maybe he was. I don't know. But something along those lines, or a guy who's fired and just, like if Peterson fired from the Eagles, goes to the Jags, fired from the Jags. If he gets fired, maybe he'll come. Something like that. But you get to this point where it doesn't matter. And I know that we talk about it all the time. The Jets have primarily hired defensive coaches for the past. I mean, since we did a 2-year stint with Adam Gase, which was just very, very, it was a fool's errand, very ill-advised hiring. But he shouldn't taint the fact that the Jets, outside of him, have hired defensive coaches exclusively since 1997. Exclusively. Bill Parcells, Bill Belichick for a minute, but then Al Groh, followed by Eric Mangini, by Herm Edwards, followed by Eric Mangini, followed by Rex Ryan, followed by Todd Bowles, right? Then we hire Gase for a minute, followed by Robert Saleh, followed by Ulbricht. So 9 out of the last 10 coaches. And guess how many of those it was their first time doing a head coaching job? All but Gase. All of them. So we hire rookie defensive coaches. So there's 2 sides to that. Now, do you go with a rookie if he's offense? You have to weigh out. He's a good offensive coach, but he's still a rookie. Does the offense outweigh the rookie piece, or does the rookie outweigh the offensive piece? And that'll bring you to guys like Flores and obviously Vrabel, who I think is the creme de la creme of this year's crop. I mean, he's going to have offers from every single team. I'd be surprised if they didn't. And you're going to go for it. You're going to have to say, hey, here's $17 million a year. And you get to pick your GM and you have full control, and I won't think that's what it's going to take. Now, does he deserve that? He's never won a Super Bowl. But that's what it's going to take. He'll go to the Cowboys. He'll go somewhere else. But the offensive woes, granted, it's not the worst offense we've seen, even though the milestones that we're hitting are, in many ways, worse than ever. It's the expectation that makes this that much worse. But the ineptitude looks the same. It feels the same. We're still, we're in the bottom 6, but we're in the bottom end of the league still to this day. It's chump change that's separating the top, the bottom 5 and then the bottom 6. So once again, we're right in that bottom 5 range. The shift of the New York Jets has to be placed on the offense. We absolutely must shed this idea that defense wins championships. It doesn't. It can help, right? You need a defense, but it is not the thing. Offense is where it's at. And it just so happens that this team already has offensive firepower. We cannot put it together. And potentially we have 4/5 of the offensive line built. You get a real coach. Keith Carter has proven nothing. Nothing. He's not a well-respected offensive coach out there. So when you look at the last bunch of years with this team, it has been offense. Now, again, we've had our years where the defense wasn't as good or whatever, but the consistent theme is the offense is the problem. And even though this is not the worst offense that we've seen, it is still the problem. And yes, they scored 27 points today. And yes, the defense gave up 28. The offense, when they knew, when we were driving down the field, you got to get in the end zone. You got to make it so a drive from them can't win it. And again, the defense gave you one touchdown, all but. You just had to get it in, which isn't guaranteed, as we know. So it's one of those things, man. This team, if you just look at it, you back up and you take a look, I'm going to say offensive mind trumps rookie head. And I hate to say it. It trumps the defensive focus. Like, if you can get Ben Johnson or Flores, you got to take Ben Johnson. I know he's a rookie. You got to do it. You got to do it. If you can get Joe Brady, I think you got to do it. And it's not my normal operating setting. I want a seasoned head coach. I'm tired of this being the training grounds for future head coaches elsewhere or whatever. I want Vrabel, and I would get him. You got to get him at all costs. Unless he goes, listen, man, stop calling me. You're ugly. I don't want to date you anymore. I just move. Unless he says no, you can give me $100 million a year, and I would still say no. Then that is what it is, which might happen. Well, let me know what you think, man. I mean, I look, I think we're entering Tankville. I'll root when we come back from the bye against the Seattle. Until we're mathematically eliminated, I root for wins. But it is getting damn near time to start the tankathon, and that sucks. But once I'm in, I'm in. Once I commit, I commit. I don't care about moral victories against the Patriots. I don't care. It's about the next regime having the best possible draft pick to start the motor up. That's what it is. So let me know. Does offense trump experience, or does experience trump offense? Even if it's an experienced defensive guy like a Flores or a Vrabel, does that trump the fact that they're both defensive backgrounds? Let me know. Let me know in the comments, guys. We'll keep talking about this team. We had some fun today, and for that, I'm grateful. I enjoy spending my Sundays with you guys. I still do. If it wasn't for you guys, I wouldn't even be watching, maybe. I would. But I might turn it off. I wouldn't have turned today's off, though. It was down to the wire. Down to the wire. I don't know what the hell that last thing with Aaron Rodgers was, throwing the ball. I got to watch the film. I didn't see it, the replay yet, but it looked silly to me. I don't know what that was. You need Aaron Rodgers to get the ball down the field. We get in the field goal range, and he throws it backwards. We lost 13 yards on the first play. I don't know. But let me know how you feel. Offense trump experience trump offense. Where are you with this stuff? With that all said, have a great rest of the week, everybody. I want to thank BetUS for sponsoring the video. And as always, go Jets.